Hey there, Mike here from MikeTemples.com, and in this video I want to show you 5 techniques to read faster. So let's dive right into it. Maybe you're asking yourself now, why should I even want to read faster? And I'll give you a very simple answer. If an author writes a book about a topic, he has probably done extensive research. Sometimes an author has put 5 or 10 years of thought work into his book, and he's an expert on the topic he wants to write about. Just imagine there's a guy who spent 5 or 10 years of his life to figure out how body language works, and he writes a book about this, and the book is probably 200 or 300 pages long. Now, if you read the book, which you can do within hours, then you will absorb the knowledge the author has accumulated over several years within several hours. And that's what really fascinates me about reading. Now, why do we want to increase our reading speed? Obviously, because we can read more books. If we are able to read 1 book per week, we can read 52 books a year. And 52 books will give you a huge chunk of knowledge. So that's basically why I love speed reading. At the same time, it's not all about speed, it's also about understanding and learning what you've read about. So here are my 5 techniques to read faster. Number 1, read often. You have to practice reading, and you have to practice reading complicated books, because when you read often, your vocabulary will improve and you will acquire more knowledge. And having more background knowledge and a better vocabulary will help you to understand more of a book, and this will help you to read faster. So getting practice in reading will help you to read faster. That's basically my point here. Reading is just like any other skill. You have to practice it to get better. The first point was kind of obvious, you probably knew that already, so let's get right to point number 2. Point number 2 is skim reading. Skim reading basically means before you actually read the book completely, you pre-read the book. You just have a look at the table of contents, the back cover of the book, and the different chapter headings. And in every chapter you read the first 2 sentences and the last 2 sentences and everything that's bold. That kind of gives you a good overview what the book actually is about. And that will help you to put things into the right context, which will allow you to read much faster and still get the most important points out of the book. You have to understand, not everything in a book is important. There are a lot of parts which are not that important, a lot of fluff, but there are also a lot of golden nuggets in there. So you want to figure out what the golden nuggets are and not spend too much time on the unimportant stuff. Skim reading really helps you with this. And even if you have to read the book 2 times, it will take you a lot less time, because skim reading a whole book only takes a few minutes, and this will save you a lot of minutes when reading the book completely. Point number 3, take notes. If you find something really helpful, write it down. You don't want to forget it. Write that stuff down and also underline or highlight important sentences in the book. This will not really help you to read faster, but it will definitely help you to remember this stuff better. And as I said in the beginning of the video, it's not all about speed, it's also about learning and understanding. Tip number 4, move along the text with your finger or with a pen. This tip really helps you to read a lot faster. By concentrating on your finger like this, you will stay kind of in a flow state. Your eyes will not skip around on the page, they follow the finger, then you know where you have to go, and it really helps to read faster. Try this technique and I bet it will improve your reading speed instantly by at least 20%. Tip number 5. Never look at single words. Always try to read a group of words at once. This is a little bit difficult, so it takes a little bit of practice to get this right, but you're definitely able to read several words at once. Just imagine 4 or 5 word groups at once. If I look at my camera right now, it says Canon zoom lens. And it's easy for me to read Canon zoom lens by looking at the camera. I don't read Canon zoom lens, I read it as a whole. I read Canon zoom lens. And that's exactly what you want to do when you read a book. Always read several word groups at once. By moving along the text with your finger and reading several word groups at once, you're able to read a lot faster. So that are basically my 5 tips to increase your reading speed. But I have an additional one for you that's not directly correlated to reading speed, but that's also really important when it comes to reading non-fiction books. And that is take action on the stuff you learn. There is a very famous saying, knowledge is power. And this is true, of course, but I like the modified version of this a lot more, and that's applied knowledge is power. If you have read a lot of books but never actually applied anything you learned, it's not really that helpful. But if you read something in a book and instantly take action on it, that's when the stuff really has a big impact on your life. So that's exactly what I would recommend you to do. The last thing I want to tell you in this video is, if you don't like reading that much, then there's an alternative for you. Listen to audiobooks or YouTube videos. And this, of course, takes a lot more time than reading a book with a speed reading technique, but I also got a little tip for you there. Just double the speed on a YouTube video or an audiobook. You will still be able to understand what the narrator is telling you, and you are also able to understand the information. Your brain is definitely capable of that, but it only takes you half the time. So if you don't like reading that much and you like it a lot more to listen to audiobooks, just set the speed to double and you're good. So that were basically my 5 techniques when it comes to speed reading. These techniques help me a lot to read faster and to learn faster. And learning fast is extremely important for me. You really want to cut the learning curve and learn the stuff as fast as possible. Don't forget to take action on the stuff you learn and you're really set up for success. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel and check out my blog at miketemples.com. See you in the next video.